should be there, I think.
The appeal.
If I click on the right buttons here, it'll bring it up.
All right, Bannock County Commissioners are back in session, and we need to enter into the Board of Equalization.
I'd make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have a motion to enter into the Board of Equalization. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you for your patience this morning while we wrapped up that business meeting. Thank you. The purpose of the Board of Equalization is to hear property assessment appeals and to ensure that all assessments are fair, equitable, and in accordance with Idaho state law. According to Idaho Section 63-502, our role is confined strictly to assuring that the market value for assessment purposes of your property has been properly determined by the assessor. We are not here to discuss taxes. Before we begin, it's crucial that you understand your role in the process. Under Idaho law, you as the taxpayer have the burden of proof. However, you only need to provide a sufficient amount of factual evidence to sustain your burden of proof. Sufficient amount of factual evidence means that you provide credible sources such as recent sales or comparables in your area, professional appraisals, evidence of property condition, damage or limitations, or any documentation of factors affecting the market value. We are here to discuss facts, not opinions. This is a formal hearing, and we ask all that testify to be respectful, relevant, and based on factual information, not opinion. All individuals providing testimony will be sworn in. Each party will be given 3 minutes to present your case, and then we'll have a response from the assessor's office. The commissioners will ask questions as needed throughout that. Then our decision will be based on whether you've met the preponderance of evidence standard, or the amount of factual evidence presented, and all relevant factors affecting your property's market value as of the assessed date of January 1. After our decision, you will receive a letter outlining the decision, and if you choose to appeal today's decision, you will have the option to do so in district court or at the State Board of Appeals. With that, Nancy, will you please swear in all those who will wish to provide testimony today? So, all the...
You solemnly swear that any testimony you're going to give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Michael, are you here?
Yeah.
Yep, you were first, so we'll get you first on the list. Thank you.
Just go up here.
Yeah, come on up and sit down.
Thank you.
And then state your name, and then your 3 minutes will begin at that time.
My name is Michael Cady. I recently built a home about 2 years ago, and it was a tax assessed last year. And then when I got my assessment last year, when I got my assessment this year, it went up about 130,000 on that assessment, which I thought was higher. And so when I met with the appraiser, my concern was that I wasn't able to get a good idea of why that assessment had changed. And then when I asked for what they'd used as comparables, I was told I couldn't get that. And so that's really why I'm here to see what was used to actually assess the value of my property and house.
Okay. Any further evidence you want to?
Well,
Do you have any other evidence?
Sure.
What
So
you
I didn't submit any other evidence. The evidence of the change in the assessment is there, but I don't have any.
Okay.
And that's why mainly because it's a new home.
Okay, great. Any questions from the assessor? Any questions from the board so far?
No.
Okay, assessor, the floor is yours. Your 3 minutes will begin.
Okay, good morning, I'm Jason Smith, Certified Residential Appraiser, Bannock County Assessor's Office. We will be discussing parcel RP, RRGJA 000400. So, in his packet, the appellant's packet, there was some concern about he had sold the house and he built a new one with the same building plans. Pretty similar homes. Just kind of wanted to point out that even though it's based off the floor plans, the newer home, it is newer than the one that he had sold, which we can't use that sales comp because it would be time adjusting too far back. But there is a 900 square difference between those two homes. let's see, again, old versus new, there's a 12-year difference between the two homes, thus therefore some of the increase. Trying to see here, location is a little different. I mean, I know it's comparing Satterfield versus Gibson Jack, both highly desirable areas, but one is the older parcel that he had sold. Of course, the view wasn't as great with the two water tanks right behind the house. But Gibson Jack is a lot more desirable rural area, beautiful view, and it's a gorgeous neighborhood too. The land did increase whenever he did buy the new home. I did find comparables. The first comparable one, actually, let me go to the subject property, is at $183 per square foot. My comparable one, it is an older home. This is a multi-million-dollar sale, so I had to kind of broaden my horizon some. But I chose this home because the square foot is, even on an older home, is way higher than, and it's within 2 square feet of his house. The comparable 2 and 3 are both in that era, 2024, and they're still both above sold per square foot. There also was a pre-BOE change. It wasn't very much. I think it was just for a bathroom fixture count that the appellant had called in, and they did adjust. So I just asked, based on the preponderance of evidence that I have and the comps, that we choose the assessor recommendation for the pre-BOE of $1,034,064. Thank you.
Okay. Questions from the board?
So you called in and you talked to somebody, and that's
Yeah,
where
I
you
came
got
in. Yeah,
the amended.
yeah. It was amended because that my whole house was brick, and only 15% of the front was brick. The rest of it is not brick. So
Okay.
that was a pretty big.
Okay. Any further questions?
Okay. Commissioner Ball?
No, I just don't, and the one thing we need to be aware of is we are adjusting everybody in the county. We can't go very specific, this house versus that one or whatever it is. The way I understand assessed values is, and unfortunately, I just don't see enough information that was given by the appellant to change the value that I think the assessors have.
Okay. My question for the assessor, this home, we did a large home like this earlier in the week, and the price, they had significantly more square footage than this one, and we adjusted the price, and the prices here are fairly similar. You know the home I'm talking about, the Benton home?
I don't know if I was in on that one, but
You were here.
You're talking about the one out, it's also a rural one.
Yes, it's more rural than this one.
Yes.
So if we look at those and the prices for the more rural one versus this, do you feel like that is still an equitable number?
all 3 of the comps that I did use, let's see, one is rural. Well, the Bain one is rural. The other 2 I did kind of based on where the location was before. But my main comparable is rural, and it's, like I said, it's within 2 square feet. Custom home on Sunset Drive.
And none of his companies are in that same area.
Right.
So-
Correct. Yeah.
And to me, that one that you're talking about would be comparable to number 1 right here on the
Number 1.
comparables, and that's the value that we put on that house. So it says that you've looked at the comps and it's all good.
Okay, well, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that on parcel RPRRGJA000400 that we go with the assessor's worksheet adjustment to
$1,334,064.
So again, that is $1,034,064, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion on that?
No.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So you still have the opportunity to appeal. You'll get a letter telling you what you can do, but you can appeal either in district court or the State Board of Appeals, and again, the letter will outline that for you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Dwayne?
Thank you. You want me to go ahead with my
Yep, state your
statements?
name and the time begins.
My name is Dwayne Sudweeks, and I live on Cimarron Circle in Bannock County, out in the south end of town. But thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to present my appeal on my property assessment today. After seeing my 2025 assessment increase by 24%, I scheduled an appointment with the appraiser's office and met with Celeste on June 19th. I had my brother, who's also a realtor, run a sales analysis for me to help show that Bannock County has my property appraised well above what I feel the true market value really is. The appraisers would not use that valuation that I provided, and I didn't know this beforehand, but they said because I do not live in the city of Pocatello, and I had used Pocatello city limit comparables. I mean, Pocatello's still in Bannock County, but and most of my sales were the more recent in 2025. So I had my brother rerun another valuation using comps that were not in the city and that were the second half of 2024, and that was included in the packet that I submitted to Christie on Monday. There are only 2 points that I want to make about the county appraisal. And the, excuse me, the first is the appraised property value. I purchased the 9.3 acre lot in 1996 at a cost of $40,000. Over the following 23 years, the property value gradually increased until 2020, when it reached $85,000. So it basically doubled, a little more than doubled in 23 years. Since then, in the last 5 years, that value has increased to over $229,000 just for the property. That's an increase of 270% in 5 years. I understand the county allows me a 1 acre plot for my house, which is valued at $86,000, and the remaining 8.3 acres have a value of over $17,000 an acre. My property backs up to BLM land and is unusable. It's a steep mountain. I provided a picture. It's kind of hard to really see how steep, but a picture looking from a drone looking at the front and the mountain behind. The lot's restrictive covenants will not allow me to build any buildings, any fences, etc. on that part of the property. I can't use it for horses. I can't use it for, it's only used for deer. I compared other properties in my neighborhood, all within a half a mile, and all back onto this same mountain, backing into BLM land, and those lots are appraised by the county. It's all over the place. They range from under $100 an acre to over $17,000 an acre, and that's subtracting the $86,000 1 acre plot. And I don't know that that's what everyone does, but that's what Celeste told me is happening on my property. All these properties back up the same mountain as mine, but I have one of the most steep properties. My second point is the property improvements or my home. We moved into the home in August of 1997, so the house is almost 28 years old.
That's your time.
Okay.
That's where we're at, sorry. Any questions?
No
Questions from the board?
Not yet.
Okay, Assessor, time is yours.
Okay, I did note that there was a quote for carpet, and we consider that. There's no consideration given to that because that's regular maintenance. And it is in average condition for a 1997 home, and we are always happy to go out and do a re-inspection. I would also like to state on the land that there is an appeal to that land by the right person. It's got privacy, it's got wildlife, and it backs right up to BLM. There's a reason why those parcels are selling for so much. I am going to go to my appeal, or my response, and I would like to state that subject property is 4,116 square foot home with 3,500 square feet of finish. And comparables are all very like quality. They're all rural parcels, and they show value. Subject, if you turn the page to the map, you will see that all are rural parcels. And I also put an aerial in there so that you can see that does back up into BLM land, and there is a good appeal to the right buyer. I would also like to say that it is platted, and the protective easement states there shall be no construction, buildings, fences, or etc. permitted within the area of the protective easement unless said construction is approved in writing by Bannock County. And that really applies to all parcels. Also, in this subdivision, none of the surrounding parcels have any influences for the topography. It is put in as additional acres, which is a very, very low rate than the first acre value. And there's also CCRs, and some of these higher end subdivisions and rural subdivisions also have covenants, conditions, and restrictions, and that is to keep the quality of the subdivision. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
My question is, the one question I did, and you've probably already answered it, is the land value, which is significantly higher, but there is twice the acreage of the comparables as well too. How much of that land value actually goes towards the original house versus the rest of it? I mean, on that kind of a parcel.
It has 86,000 for the first acre, which our sales show that is what 1 acre parcel. For the additional acreage, which is 8.3 acres, it is in as 140,573 at a much lower rate. And the reason is that's what our sales show, that people will pay for a higher acreage.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner? I don't have any. Yes.
So do I get to ask questions of the
You
appraiser?
can ask us, yes.
Okay. So my first question, you say I have 4,116 square feet?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
incorrect. My house is just a little over 2,900 square feet. I have a main level that's 2,100 square feet. I have an upper floor that is, I have my original architectural plans here.
Those are the numbers that we have as well too.
Yeah,
That number may have been misquoted.
I don't have a basement. It's 29 and like 2,934 square feet.
Which is what we have.
Okay,
Yep.
So,
but she just said,
I
I
may
have
have
41
misquoted
low
it.
grade then.
The total is 4,176.
116, and we are showing a basement.
Okay.
We are more than happy to go out and do a re-inspection, but even an unfinished basement is still a basement. Now, finished square feet, we're only showing 3,050, and we always measure from the exterior, and we are more than happy to go out and remeasure. But we are showing that you do have a basement, just not a finished basement.
Well, I mentioned that to you when we met last week, that I have no basement I have a stair that goes down to the basement. I have a little landing that's 8 feet by 3 feet, or 8 feet by 4 feet. That's the whole of my basement. All the rest of the house is over a crawl space, and I have a garage, an unfinished garage shop under the other half of my basement, or under
So-
my house.
We are showing that there's only 1,185 square feet in the basement, and the rest is crawl. But
There
that,
is no
when
basement.
homes are built, the
Hold on
appraiser
a second.
will,
Anita?
So he says he has his architectural drawings. Does that say that on there, that there's not a basement, just a crawl space? Because I don't know if we have your plans. And if we
Can
don't,
I
we
share
need-
those?
We need to see those plans.
Yes, if you could share those with
So
her
at this
real quick.
point.
Hold on a second, Alan.
At this point, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I almost, with the big difference that we've got, and we haven't looked at the plans, probably need to send it back to us and let us relook at it. Because that's a big difference.
That is a big difference. So why don't we do that? Let's send you back over to the assessor, let you guys work through that, and then the assessor can bring us a recommendation, what we need to do once they've looked at that and verified the information. on
It's
that.
actually pretty close to the back side of the sheet that you gave me. It's off by a little bit. Let's see. And it says basement G. I assumed that meant basement garage, 1185.
oh,
There's no finished basement other than, like I
He
say, the
is-
bottom of that.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's okay.
He's
So just-
absolutely correct.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
do
a
this.
low-grade
We're gonna
basement.
send you back to the assessor per the assessor's recommendation. Let them make the adjustments and see if you can reach an agreement there, and then we'll go from there.
Okay?
Okay? So in that matter, we will remand it back to the assessor.
Thank you for bringing that.
Yes, thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate it. And thank you, Anita.
Okay, so that will.
Yep,
Where
you're
do you
done
think?
for now.
Okay.
So you guys can just set up an appointment to talk if you want to go over now and do it, whatever. All right, the next one is Tim and Diana Santillanes. They are not here. I do not see them, so the assessor, when you're ready, just state your name and the time will begin.
Go ahead, get your your bag. I didn't realize it was still under there. I don't want to trip over it. Okay. So we're doing Santiana's first?
Yes.
So just state my name and go?
Yep.
Okay. Lanita Benson, Certified Residential Appraiser, Bannock County, on parcel RPPR 4,900 for 2,900 Michelle Street. It's just a single-family dwelling, and we have it valued at $732,163, and we just ask that you would uphold that value.
Okay, questions?
No. I see nothing that would change that, so with that, make a motion that parcel RPR PPR 4000900 that we uphold the assessor's value.
I do have a question real quick as I'm looking at this. The appellate provided an appraisal from 2023.
Right, which is out of our time frame.
If you time adjust that forward, what value does that give us?
I could try and pull up our calendar or our adjustment thing, our template, and see.
And the reason, I'm just curious on that.
I can find it. I don't remember what Joshua called it. It might be under here. Oh, there it is, manual adjustment. Let's look. It was in May of '23,
Yeah.
and they paid. It was appraised at, but that doesn't
660.
mean that's what they paid. That was just what it was appraised at.
Market value of opinion, 660,000.
Okay.
As of 5/31/2023.
So we raise it.
If you market that forward, potentially. But I think the assessor's about right.
Which brings up that question. I'd love to see the formula, how we do time adjust. I mean, is it so much a month, so much,
So much a month.
there's gotta be an index somewhere
Yeah.
that says,
In the past, we've adjusted
yeah.
like that.
Is that a state-generated index number?
I just did a rough
Time
10,
adjustment?
I just did a rough 10%.
It's from the sales,
10%?
he
So about
analyzes every
2
month
years,
and
I
sees what the
moved up
percentage
20%.
is and
Okay.
then applies that each
And that's
month.
what I got.
Yeah, so I guess it's just one of those questions that somebody asked, what is the time value of the,
And I don't think you heard what she was saying.
Okay.
But she said that our analyst looks at all the sales every month and comes up with a percentage
and your analyst is
is Josh.
in staff?
It's in staff.
Right,
Yeah.
so, yeah, okay. So is it time adjusted monthly? Annually?
We can look at every month, but
Okay.
then he gets the overall
Okay,
after he strategizes all of them and stuff. And
So did you get a number?
I did.
so it's interesting, you
Hope this
took
is-
20%. Interesting to see what,
It's coming up with, but I don't know if he doesn't have this year's in there. That's the only thing, is I don't know if this is gonna be accurate because he doesn't have 24s in there to compute that.
the time adjustment.
What are you coming up with?
So 719,400,
Okay.
but that's not including 2024.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Within 12,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
I'm-
is-
I'm okay with that.
Gee, yeah.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
It's not an exact science.
Next one is David Potter.
Parcel RP R4 225-011-000, 9447 South Topaz, valued at $172,479. I just want to make note that we have adjusted the condition in years past, and it has remained in fair condition since then, and that we would just ask that you'd uphold that value of $172,479.
I think the comps you used are appropriate, so I don't have any heartburn with where we're at.
So, Mr. Chair, on parcel RP R42250111000, I make a motion that we uphold the assessor's value.
We have a motion. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Just the one or leave it?
All right, that'll put us at
Did we
recess.
adjust the one?